Thank you very much for coming. First of all, Friday evening, that's definitely not how you wanted to spend your Friday evening.
No, not a problem, not a problem. Thank you for the invite. I think it's always a great opportunity to be able to talk and share your experience and learn from others as well. So thank you.
Awesome. So you are the first person with whom I want to start my podcast with, and that's amazing. And again, so we will keep it short and simple, and let's see how many people can take, how much they can, other people can get out of it. So let's start with your background. When, so you did your bachelor's from India. Am I right?
No, no. So I came to New Zealand a while back. So I did my part of my schooling here as well in New Zealand. So year 11, 12, and 13 here in New Zealand.
Right.
And then I got into did my diploma and my BTech at Unitech in Auckland. And yeah, while working, I did my postgrad diploma or graduate diploma, sorry, whilst doing a full-time job. So started here, when I was in high school.
Right. So how did you think about moving to New Zealand? Did you come by yourself or did you come with your parents?
No, I came with my parents.
Really?
Wow. I was lucky enough, but at the same time, I came here when I was quite young. I was only 15 years old.
Wow.
So at that time, until you turn 18, you must have a legal someone to look after you, pretty much.
Yeah.
A guardian. Yeah. So mom came with us. Me and my brother came together back in 2005.
Right.
So we did, yeah. So a while back.
All right, that's nice. And since you got into high school, at basically, you started your schooling at a very early age in New Zealand. And how much time did you spend in school?
3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
So in those 3 years, like back in India, we were always being told that, okay, do your do your school, do your graduation, do your postgrad, and or apply for government job. That's the one path every parent in India showed to their children back in the day. Yeah. But when you moved here, did those 3 years changed you? Like you were still a kid, technically, like you were still a very impressionable person.
Yeah.
How much did it change you?
See, I think I have done so much in my career because of the independence that I got early in my early years in New Zealand, to be honest. In India, we sort of rely on parents a lot, even till later in the age, even when you're in universities and things like that. And what New Zealand taught me, or the advantage I had by coming to New Zealand that early was, of course, when you're 15 years old, you have no idea what's going on. You don't even know that you came here to settle in and get a new, better life and all that. At that time, parents thought that they want their kids to be to go to New Zealand and settle in and have a good life. But for me, it was just, hey, what am I doing here? My dad's not here, my sister's not here. Half of the family is in New Zealand and half in India. But I think over time you realize, the hard work that you have done in the early year, it actually pays off. Yeah. So at that time, especially being in New Zealand, Norman taught me, you must do engineering or you must get into a council or government type roles. It just comes in. I mean, I lived with my aunt and my cousin was a civil engineer, and I think that's where this whole getting into civil engineering started. That's what I feel. Norman, I mean, I knew nothing about civil engineering, but when I was in high school, I spent a lot of time talking to a lot of civil engineering students, and also going to a lot of open days for Unitechs and other universities to understand the difference between a school life and a university life, and do I really want to get into it? because your year 12 and 13 are the critical one, and these are the only 2 years you have left to make a decision what your next rest of your life, or what are you really going to get into. And I think that's a big pressure on especially the high school students or kids that deciding which way they want to go.
100%. So one thing which shocks students coming from Asia, because that's where most of my connections are, especially from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Russia. So these kids are not taught to do a part-time jobs. Did this, when you came here and you saw other students were doing part-time jobs, or other students are cleaning floors, other students are working in McDonald's, other students are doing something to make sure they get something in their pockets and pursue their dreams, did that culture shock you in the beginning?
Not really. I actually enjoyed earning that amount and be able to say that, hey, I earned it, and I bought something from that money. I mean, again, it's a personal perspective, but that's what I felt. And again, as I said, that sort of when you're earning, paying your own bills at such an early age, it sort of trains you to go into the real world later on, so I think it sort of worked it works in your favor. You enjoy doing it. Of course, it's not easy going to school and doing part-time work at the same time, trying to get your assignment done, but that's the age when you have to do hard work to be able to get an easy life later on,
Exactly.
So,
100%. That's what I'm trying to get out of this at this point of time. So you came here and then you did your bachelor's from Unitech. First you did your diploma, and then you did your bachelor's.
Correct.
And then in 2014 you did a course which basically I did as well. So technically you are my senior in the college as well as in life as well. So bro, what was your first job like? First job as a part-time and first job as a full-time after you became civil engineer?
So I think it's very important that I tell you that not just talk about engineering, but my first job in my life. So I managed to score a job at a supermarket. They had a vegetable department. So pretty much looking after the vegetable store, cutting veggies and wrapping stuff and keeping the store neat and tidy, doing the sales and all that sort of things. So really a basic stuff. So that's what I started when I was a high school student, just doing part-time hours. At that time, we were allowed 20 hours. So I was pretty much doing 10 to 15 hours, and then during the break you were allowed to do a little bit longer. So that's where I started. But after during my third year at Unitech, I managed to get a job for a contracting firm. It was a piling company. Pretty much, I was very skinny and trying to be on site in summer. With all these really hard big people. It's not easy, I tell you. Your skin's changing from sort of whitish to different color. Long hours, and you're not able to cook. You're relying on takeaways most of the time. It challenges you a little bit, but I think that again that's important. And the good thing is about that contracting job was that it was a practical experience. I wasn't sitting in office in my early career. I was actually on site trying to understand how things work around machineries. So that's really important, and that sort of built me to be where I am today. So that was my first intern job, and part-time job was pretty much working at a veggie store.
Oh, nice. Sorry, bro. I wanna ask you a question related to that engineering experience you had. Obviously, times are different now. It was 10 years back. Oh, sorry, 5-7 years back when you had, but the times are different. So, how did you end up being an intern on that job? How did you approach that?
How there's so many different aspects that brings together. You have to sort of, you can't just really say one thing helped me to get to that. So what I want to talk, I mean, what I can sort of suggest is, or sort of suggest the youngsters is, I applied for a lot of volunteer jobs. I was happy to work for free for people to get some experience, because I was desperate to get into market. And at that time, road maintenance type of work in New Zealand was at a peak. So private development, it wasn't that much, but maintenance and capital projects were a lot, and there was good money involved. So I was trying to get into that to be able to learn something. But that was one part of it, because I applied for so many volunteer jobs, spoke to so many managers. Hey, can I be, can I come for a few days or a few weeks just to see how you guys do things on site? I don't need any money. I'll come in my own car, do my own thing. And I think the other aspect at Unitech, I put my hand up to be a student rep. So I was representing, pretty much the whole of your second year of students and into year 3 as well. And that allowed me to build a lot of contacts and get a lot of what do you call, a feedback, a positive feedback from the management at Unitech and the HOD from Unitech. So these guys are the real guys who got contacts in industry. Exactly. And I think that played a bit of a part as well. So importance of, be able to, when you're in uni, don't just think about, getting your assignments done, to think about other activities that you can get involved in. Can you be a student representative? Can you run sort of programs for classes? I did tuition classes as well in year 3rd for your first year students. So that helped me interact with the new students that are coming into it. So all this package helped me to get into a job or an internship. When you're writing all this stuff in your CV and you're talking to the person who's hiring you, it sort of helps them, this guy is up to something.
And yeah, 100%. It's I just want to stress on the point which you just mentioned is you talk to a lot of contractors, a lot of people, you made your contacts. As you and I both know how important that is to make contacts, references. It's how important that is to let people know what you are capable of or what you are excited about in New Zealand, so that people get to know, okay, even if you have the greatest CV in the world, the best cover letter you have, but if you're sitting at home and just applying jobs, is not as effective as you would take that CV to a person, talk to him, let them know what kind of person you are and what attitude you hold. Am I right, bro?
Oh, 100%. And to add to it, especially civil engineering industry is very small in New Zealand. People know each other. If you are building those contacts, it's definitely going to help you. Not today, not tomorrow, but one day when you need it, it will help you.
100%. It's you need to get out there. We as an immigrant, like as my clients, what I noticed is they are super capable. They got enormous amount of experience. They have relevant experience. They have enough experience or attitude to get into the market, but they are a little bit introvert, a little bit closed, like in a shell. That how do I talk to a person? Because they, even me, grew up in an environment where we were taught not to talk to strangers, and when we move after 20, 25, 26 years, and somebody asks us to do something which we were told not to do our entire life, what's your suggestion to them? Because that's what you can see in colleges as well, when if people keep themselves to their community rather than talking to teachers and other people from other communities.
I think that's, I can relate myself to it. When I was young, I was a shy guy. Um, I think there's various way of developing it. Once you're proud of what you do, and you're passionate about, what you're studying, what you want to get into, that's the first step. That helps you to be able to talk to, because you're desperate about, getting to know people, getting into a job. So if you're really enjoying what you're doing or what you're studying, what you want to get into, that helps you. And also, you don't have to start thinking about how I'm going to build that skill. You have to take some steps, small steps. When I was a shy guy, I don't know how I overcome it, but what I feel is, by becoming a student rep, a lot of people, actually, a lot of students start interacting with me. So a lot of that audience, actually, rather than me approaching them, they actually started coming to start and talk to me. Hey, these are the issues that we're looking or facing. And that sort of encouraged me that these guys are relying on me. Hence, I need to speak up to my higher department and be able to raise certain things. So that was the starting point. And I think different people's got different skills, but taking small steps and understanding what's easier that you can accomplish, and then starting off from there is going to help people for sure. I'll tell you, I was a shy. I didn't want to talk to anyone, to be honest. But I think why I got into it, because I was just so passionate about engineering. I was just, and also I wasn't just passionate about civil, but it's a wider engineering group that I'm talking about. I feel civil is just part of it, but it trained me to be a much better person in reality, to be honest.
Yeah, totally, 100%. It's one thing we can take out from there is you always make sure why did you start? What are you passionate about?
Great.
Now, forget about the hindrances, forget about all those difficulties you're going to came across, because those difficulties only going to make you stronger. And that's part, if you're not overcoming if you don't not facing the difficulties, it means you're not progressing. I mean, that's what I guess you're trying to.
Correct. You have to get out of your comfort zone to be able to, achieve. Otherwise, it will take you time. You'll be sitting there trying to think, hey, why isn't it happening the way you want it to be? Can you make some changes in yourself to make that happen, type thing, So that thinking process need to keep on updating and see where you're going wrong. What are you doing? What are you good in? Can you use those skills to be able to accomplish what you want to do in life, The thinking process helps.
Yes. As an immigrant, we need to open up ourselves and change our attitude and let people know that, okay, I'm here, I'm capable to do something much better than other people who are out there, maybe lesser than some other people out there, but I hold an attitude to add some value into your company. And during my studies, I became a student rep, and that shows my leadership skills. During my studies, I didn't just complete the assignments, I actually developed skills in AutoCAD. I developed skills in networking. I developed skills in some other languages or something. That shows that put those people above than basically your fellow mates. Just say, okay, like 60 students graduate from a class every single year from one subject, and 60 are equal at that stage, because regardless of how much experience they have overseas, if you apply for a graduate position, you are more or less equal. But what makes them differ, other people differ, is what they have gained when they actually came to New Zealand.
Great.
So my next question to you is, obviously you have answered the importance of networking, and that actually played a huge role on what you are today, senior development engineer, which you recently became. Am I right?
2 years now, but
2
time's
years, 2
time
years.
flying.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, 2 years, 1 year, 11 months. So you started as a junior site, and then you joined Becca, and you worked there. So you basically
See,
gained. Mhm.
just for information, how I got into Becca as well,
Yeah.
because Becca, if people from our industry, from engineering background, know
Mhm.
Becca is one of the best company, and people actually, especially the graduates, they dream to get into the company that going to train them. And Becca was one of the company that you don't as a I think as a student you don't realize how much they do for graduates.
Mhm.
They got a really good system. But what I really wanted to discuss was me getting into Becca. How I got into Becca was through a reference as well.
Nice.
There was a graduate job that I applied for, no response. And then my HOD from Unitech, the head of department, spoke to me. Hey, you're going to finish your course? Have you been applying? You've been applying for jobs. Have you received any contracts or any interviews? I was like, yes, I'm trying a number of jobs, or have got few interviews lined up. And he's like, oh, I think you might be best fit for Becca. And I was like, oh, damn it. Okay, thank you. What do I have to do? And he's like, oh, send me your CV. I was like, sweet, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Went home, polished my CV like I just want that job tomorrow. I spent a couple of hours at night, just reading my CV again and again, reading what Becca does. Why would they hire me? What do I have to be able to give to them that I can sort of tell Becca, hey, I'm bringing something with me rather than just asking you to develop me. I'm actually going to help you guys somehow, even with that small amount of experience.
Yeah.
So I sent my CV, got up in the morning. First thing I did was sent my CV to HOD. And on the same day, in the evening, I received a call from Becca. Hey,
Wow.
can you come and see us?
Yeah.
Got my interview done. I still had 4 months to go. And after a month, it took a bit of a time, and you're thinking about it every single day because you've done so many interviews.
Yeah.
I had a job offer from at that time Fulton Hogan, as well as Becca. And because Becca was giving me something that I wanted to get into more into design space, I actually ended up receiving or accepting the offer. Going back, how did I get that job? It all started with me becoming a student rep, doing something for Unitech, doing something for the students, for the youngsters, building that relationship, telling the management that, hey, I'm here, give it to me type thing. You're not sitting there doing your assignments only, but you're contributing to the industry. And this is a perfect example of networking, I would say. If you're not doing, if you're not talking to people, you're not telling people that you're looking for a job, then you're not going to get it. I remember my dad used to tell me when we were little, hey, if you're sick, go to the roof and shout, hey, I'm sick, I've got this problem. If 100 people listen to you, one will give you a solution, or one will give you the medicine that you need. If you're looking for a job, talk to people. You never know who's going to come and give you a shout. Hey, I've got this reference. I've got this job coming up. So it's very important. Networking for you to succeed in your career or get what you want out of your career. Very important.
That 100%, 100% I agree. It's that's why I knew somehow in the back of my mind, I knew that you must have came across networking in your career, because that's the way you have progressed over the years. It's not just you sitting in their office, and if if opportunity comes along, it's a light. It's not, you're not. That's what what impression I got about you is, you're kind of guy who's passionate about things, who keeps tabs of his career, and you keep tab of what you want to become by the year 2030. Are you that kind of guy? Do you have a
See,
You don't need to show
I
me a chart or something, but do you have a career graph or something that there's where you want to become in next 5,
see,
10 years?
yeah, see, it's easy for me to say, hey, I want to be the president of New Zealand. You know, everyone's
It's
dream,
good to have
or you
dreams,
know,
but it's
or
good to have a title.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think again, what I feel is you gotta always think about your short-term and long-term goals. And short-term goals allow you to develop those skills to get to those long-term goals. If you start putting goals for like next 10 years without knowing the minor mistakes you have been doing and minor skills that you need to work on, you will not be able to develop them.
Yeah.
So you got to see every single day, what are you doing? Were you productive enough that day? Did you give something back to the society? Did you give something back to the community? Not just your work, not just the contracting, or not just the design side of things. I managed to get my job out. You got to think a little bit outside that. And I think engineering, I feel engineering is all about serving the society, serving the community. We are making this place a better place to live in for us, for the future generation. And I think that's what drives me. I always keep short-term goals, and then I've got my long-term goals that I'm trying to get to. Again, within those goals, I have aspects like, I want to give something back to the community. I do a lot of volunteer work with school kids, give them presentations about my career. I go to, universities, talk to graduates about, how I became a senior engineer at council. How did I get my job? When I was a graduate, what did I do to get into a workforce? Talking to school kids, what subjects I took to become an engineer. Talking to even parents, when during school open days, what parents need to start doing in the background to support their kids, rather than I remember when I was about to get into Unitech for civil engineering, I gave my dad a call. And I was like, Dad, I need your help. What do you want me to do? I mean, do you have anything planned for me? Do you want me to, become a doctor, become an engineer? And I still remember he said, hey, this is your life. You do what you want to do. And I think that helped me. If I had a passion of, becoming a musician, I know I will succeed in that field if I was passionate about it. I just happened to be living with my cousin who was all about engineering, telling me, the roads he's been constructing, the bridges he's been involved in, that mind just developed. Again, at school, I thought I'm going to be a doctor or something to do with medical, but no, it wasn't my thing. And even today, I think I'm proud of what I am, and I got into it just because I enjoyed it.
That's so motivational to talk to you, seriously. I feel like I should open my work laptop and start working. I'm good. 100%. But yes, I can relate to you because my father was a civil engineer as well, and that's what drove me to get into civil engineering. And that was so awesome when he used to come home and he would start showing us pictures of the bridges and the roads he had constructed, and I'm like, I want to do that. So I can relate to you 100%. And so then my next question to you is your personal growth over the years. You told us that you had your goals about engineering, where you wanted to make a civil engineer, fascinated you, and that's why you pursued your diploma and in bachelor's in there. Did you pursue other things which would help you in that career, like Toastmasters or interpersonal skills or some courses which you found out later in life? Yes, that was useful. That was well money spent.
See, I talked about a lot about being a student rep, be able to being visible to other students and all that. But I think future intake from Engineering New Zealand It used to be Future Intake Group. So what they used to do was they used to attract people in industry, get them together and ask them to share their knowledge and their experience with school kids, go to school talks, attend open evenings type thing. And you're pretty much standing in front of, say, year 10 or year 9 kids and talking to them in their language, very open talk. And, if I'm an engineer and you ask me to present something to a person who's got 40 years experience, I'm going to be shaking, especially as a graduate. But I think that helped me because I'm in front of the kids. I am sharing the knowledge that I've gained at school, at university. And it's not hard. It's not hard to share. And you're confident about, because you know what you studied. You know what you've been doing in the last few years. That's where it all started. My communication skill, my presentation skill, me being confident in public, me being able to be open, to be able to, be able to talk to people on, say, LinkedIn, be able to give advice to people. And I think it all started from that Future Intake program that I got involved in at very early stage. And that's what 𝗵𝗃𝗃 helped me. 𝗵𝗃𝗃 allowed me to attend these meetings, these school talks, not just in my own time. Sometimes you have to leave work and be able to attend some of these presentations and prepare these presentations. So I think that helped me a lot. And 𝗵𝗃𝗃 had a really good graduate system that helped me a lot as well. How to actually communicate, how to present yourself as a professional engineer, how to be able to, the skills that you need to talk to people, why feedback is important, not just positive, but negative feedback. How do you deliver it, for example? All these things sort of, I think helped me. But Future Intake, I think the group is, it's a part of an Engineering New Zealand program. It's still, I think it's still happening, still currently working with school kids. If any of the youngsters want to spend or grow their skills, I would strongly suggest put your name in and go out there and talk to kids, talk to students, talk to the community. That will help you build your skills and will, it helped me. I can definitely recommend others doing it.
So taking all the opportunities, especially when your first language is not English, you need to make sure that you take every opportunity you get to put yourself out there, which would help you later in the career. It doesn't matter how embarrassing it might become. It doesn't matter if you get hanged in between the conversation. Just do it. I remember I joined Toastmaster like 6 months ago, and I did my presentation in front of like 30 people. And that situation, bro, when you know what you want to say, but you can't just remember one word, and without that word you can't finish the sentence, and then 30 pairs of eyes are looking at you, staring at you. They are motivating you, but you still feel a little bit shaky. And I got hanged for like 1.5 minutes, and those 1.5 minutes felt like 2,000 years. But people were so motivating. They were like, yeah, keep it up, take your time. And then I somehow managed to complete the sentence. But in the next presentation, I was super confident, not the best version of myself, but I was better than before because I took the opportunity. And so that's what helped you when you were a student rep. You saw this opportunity and you saw that, oh, I talked to this person, and then I talked to second person. But that when I talked to a second person, I actually talking more efficiently and more fluently than I was talking to the first person. And then you took this opportunity to double up your interpersonal skills as well as networking.
Yeah, correct. Because see, because of those skills, at my level, expectation is for me to be able to deliver professional, really good technical presentation to a much wider group. So as I said, if I wouldn't have gone through that whole process, me standing in front of 40 people who got so much experience, telling them or sharing my idea, I will struggle. But I think that whole process of me delivering, putting my time into something I knew is at my honest. I mean, in today's time, I'm interacting with so many technical groups, so many internal staff within council doing a lot of interaction, presentations, meetings, that it just feel normal nowadays, because you have built those skills much earlier in your career that you're so confident. I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm freely talking. Why? Because I have learned so much in the last few years that I've got so much to share. And you build it by physically going out there and doing it. And after a few years, you realize how much you have learned and how much, I mean, there's no limit. There's no limit. Even today at senior level, every day I'm learning something new. Every day I'm open to listen to even the new graduates. I have something new to learn. You've got to be open up to be able to, let others talk, listen to others. That's another skill that you build over time, the importance of listening to others.
100%. Yeah. That's a true leadership skill. That's why we got 2 ears and just one mouth, so that you would listen more and speak less. 100% agree. My next question to you is, what is the future plans for Jasbinder?
My main, again, always that I think of is, how do I give back to the community that's given me so much, that made me who I am today? So I'm really looking for opportunities to be able to, get involved in community works and be able to give something back. So I'm thinking something along those lines, like, how am I going to get into that? And I know, even though I'm thinking that I'm going to give something back, it's going to give me double the amount back one day, even in the future. So that's something in my mind. I'm looking at ways of, a lot of things are happening, and I think now I'm at a stage where I keep on thinking what's next. And again, I think after senior, there's a management type role, but I think I currently, there's two ways of looking at it. Do you want to get into a technical side of things, or do you want to get into management? And I'm still sort of judging myself as to what's going to work best for me, not just for the title, but just, I think, for the long term. So that's where I'm
aligns with your plan, with your future plan.
Yeah, correct.
Awesome. So I will not hold you for long. I will just ask you one last question. What is the message you want to give to the young graduates? First, so we got two categories. First one, who got 1, 2, 3, 4 years of experience, overseas experience, but now they are doing jobs which are not related to engineering or their fields. Second category is who doesn't have any experience at all. They did back-to-back degrees. They moved here and then they did another degree or diploma. And the only experience they have is either traffic controller or cleaning or some basically non-engineering related jobs. What is your message for them? Because they want to hear from somebody who had this kind of experience, because you didn't have any engineering experience before you came here.
Yeah. See, there's two ways of looking at it. I feel as an international student, because I've gone through that whole phase, you don't have your parents relying on you. Once you say that you're working, you get that pressure. So it's not an easy question to answer, but what I want to tell you is, you got responsibility. No worries. I totally agree. And my scenario might have been different to someone else's. That part-time job is important for you to be able to live, pay your bills. But once you start pushing that limit, hey, I want to earn money, and I think that's where people go wrong. If you are working as a TC or in a supermarket, as an engineer, I don't see any problem with it. But as long as you're putting enough effort in, after those 20 hours, you got so much time after that to be able to go out there, talk to people, apply for jobs. If you are, rather than doing 20 hours and be able to live normally, you are doing 40 hours as a TC or as a supermarket worker, I think you are on the wrong track, because you do have those extra 20 hours that you can spend in a better way that will help you for the rest of your life, and for you to be able to secure a job. So that's one thing. And the second thing that I continuously saying in graduates is, one, they actually try to understand what they enjoy doing at university. For example, if you have taken a lot of traffic papers, you feel that this is the job that you're going to enjoy, and this is the aspect of engineering that you're good in. I would say, especially at early career or in your early time as a youngster, or even 1-2 years of experience, don't limit yourself to that single expertise of civil engineering or even wider engineering. There are so many different opportunities. I mean, what I felt when I was a Becca, I got stuck with transportation engineering, and the continuous message I was getting was, is it what I want to do for the rest of my life? I was good in it. I got respected for what I was doing at that time, but at that time, after a year and a half, I wanted to go out there and see what else is available for me. So don't stick to, just don't limit yourself to a single expertise or two expertise. I want to get into geotech or traffic only. There are so many different opportunities, and until you don't try it, you're not going to know what you're good in. You're just assuming that, I might be good in this, but you've got to try it. So I see a lot of graduates getting into TC or a drafting person type job. That's fine. That experience is important, but as long as you're limiting it and you're spending a lot of the rest of your time, researching what's happening in the market, what new projects are coming in, what projects got tendered out by the government. I remember when I was young, I used to look to stay on some of the NZTA websites, for example, looking at what new projects are coming in, what projects are in tender, what companies have applied for it, which company won it. For example, if you get to know a company that won a massive tender and say a connection between Auckland and Hamilton, approach that company. That company will need people. But what are we wasting our time on is looking at applying for jobs. You got to go outside your box a little bit. And that's what's going to make you stand out, to be honest. So that's all I can suggest. Don't limit yourself to a single expertise or even double expertise. Keep your options open. Always keep your options open.
And that's amazing advice. I would just like to add 1 or 2 points. Is as you already mentioned, I just want to reiterate that networking is super important. And the other thing is, you want to make sure, what I found in my clients profile is, they use the exact same CV which they would use back in their country. Like I have seen some people CV which they say, I love playing tennis, and then they put that CV, and I can cook. I have a good stamina. And other thing is, they say, I can cook steak to a perfection. So that's their specialty and skills. So I would suggest them to make sure that you tailor your CV as per the New Zealand requirements, rather than using the same CV which we would use in your country. And other thing is, obviously, I said networking. Go out there, test yourself, develop those skills. And if you look at a job description, it's a civil engineer, and you are thinking of becoming a civil engineer, look at the job description. If it look at the softwares they are asking while you're studying, just study those software, develop some skills which would put you over other people, like which it will level you up. Agree?
Yeah, totally agree. And also ask people that are around you that's got more experience. Even if sharing your CV is one way of looking at it, do it. They will give you something back, you know.
Yeah.
So talk to people.
Yeah. 100%. Awesome. And that will conclude our webinar, our podcast. Awesome. I will just stop sharing